What's going on, everybody? It's Daniel here with Kizuna, and today we're back with another video of our Ask Me Anything series. Today we're going to be speaking with former camp incarceree June Berk, who was around the age of 13 when she was incarcerated, so she's going to be sharing some stories about camp from her point of view. Now, I highly suggest you guys stick around for the end because this one, it's a pretty interesting one. So if my words of encouragement have affected you in any sort of way, let's hop into it.
Hi everyone, it's Stephanie Nitahara again, and we are back doing another Ask Me Anything. This time we're talking to June Berk, who was actually incarcerated during World War II. Hi June, would you like to introduce yourself and share a little bit more about you?
Hi, yes. Hi Stephanie. I am so pleased to be here and thank you for asking me. I was 10 to 13 years old when my family were evacuated from Los Angeles, and my brother Yas was a junior in high school, and my sister Kay was just getting ready to graduate from Belmont High School when we were forcibly evacuated from our homes and taken to the bus station down in Little Tokyo. And from there, they took us to Santa Anita Assembly Center. That was the beginning of going to camp and with my family. I am now 88 years old, and looking back, I have a lot of fond memories of camp, especially the friends that I made in camp, and I really, really miss them. At my age, I still am able to keep in touch with a few of them, but I am here to talk about whatever you want to ask me. I think our parents were really good about protecting all of us children, and I never saw my mother and father upset or angry or saying anything negative. They just did what we had to do. We had to burn all of our pictures and Japanese artifacts that we had in our home. I remember that right after the December 7th, going to school, we were being chased home by the kids in the neighborhood calling us Japs and things like that. As kids, we were more into, what we're gonna do, what we're gonna eat, and we weren't really thinking about civil rights, except my sister. She knew her civil rights, and she kept saying, I'm not gonna go to camp. And then my parents said, well, who's gonna take care of us in camp? And who's gonna take care of you out here? So she finally had to relent and go to camp. And I remember seeing the soldiers all lined up at the bus station, and we had to get on the bus. And when we went to Santa Anita, there were soldiers all standing in line there, and we had to go into camp. I remember getting a pillowcase to stuff it with the straw, and that was our mattress. And then they took us to the horse stables where we were assigned to a certain horse stable. I was amazed at how small it was and how the five of us were able to sleep in that one little small horse stall. Of course, it didn't smell very good. So my brother would stay away from our unit and play baseball all day, every day, from morning till night, because he says it smelled so bad in this horse stall, he didn't want to come home. And they had what they call a bed check, where they come around and they put the flashlight in your room and make sure that each of us are in our beds. Beds were set on the asphalt floor, tar, so every night the beds would sink into the floor, and then every morning you'd have to pull it out and move it to another place so that the bed won't have to sink again in another spot. After being in camp for a long time, the guards started to relax, and we were able to pull apart the barbed wire fences and crawl through and wave to the guard goodbye. So they just let us walk down the road. And all I remember is that walking down the road, we come across these shacks, like a one-room shack, which it was somebody's home. And it was unbelievable, the poverty around the camp. The group of us kids would go down to the swamp area and play in the swamps, and the boys would chase us with these little tiny snakes to get on us, and we would scream. I remember one time we stopped at this grocery store. It had a gas pump outside the store, and the store had no floor, it was just dirt. And we walked in, and I remember asking him, we want to buy ice cream. And he said, we don't sell any ice cream here. Then we realized that we who were in camp were actually better off than the people surrounding our camp, who were so poor that they couldn't even buy ice cream. And we heard stories, I don't know if they were true or not, but we heard stories of people trying to sneak into camp to try to steal food. My brother was allowed to go out of camp to McGee, Arkansas. He rode with his friend out, and because they were from camp, they were the last ones to get ice. They had an ice truck that they picking up ice for the people in camp. So he and his friend would go into the movie theater in McGee, and as they went upstairs to go to the colored section, they were told to go downstairs and sit in the white section. My father too, once when he went out of camp, he was told to sit in the white section on the bus and not the colored section. And my father said, I thought we were the enemy aliens and they treat us better than the people who were colored. And we couldn't get over that. It was really like so incredibly strange that we would be treated like that. I could only speak for myself, but I remember just hanging out with my friends most of the time. And even, I guess it was kind of sad that the family structure kind of fell apart in camp because we all ate with our friends and we didn't eat with our family or our mother and father. So in that way, probably the challenge was more for the parents on how to keep us happy. But as kids, all we did was go out and have fun, and we didn't worry about anything else. They talked about how the dancers and other people with talent would put on talent shows in various mess halls. I was a student of Fujima Kansuma at the time, and we would dance in different mess halls. I enjoyed dancing, but at that time, I also wanted to play volleyball, and I wanted to also hang out with my friends. So the challenge was in the East States. We had the talent shows, and I also learned to play the shamisen, and I also learned to sing the nagauta, which is great. It was terrible. And also my girlfriend taught us how to do baton twirling. I remember that we could go to the library and read. I think I read all the Nancy Drew mysteries and all the Sue Barton nursery books. At first, they wouldn't let us go to Japanese school or have any kind of Japanese entertainment. And then later on, they decided to keep up the morale of the Issei's, our parents' generation. They started allowing us to dance again. We were always given opportunities to do whatever we wanted to do. So I think it was an ideal place to grow up in, regardless of how much it rained or the mosquitoes and all those kinds of things. The horrible parts of it we forget because we're having so much fun with our friends. And I think our parents just made it a point to make us all happy. I was happy we didn't have to go to Japanese school. I didn't miss it at all. So our interests were like the hit parade, movie magazines, cutting out pictures of movie stars and pasting it up on our wall. So I didn't miss any of the Japanese things at all. It wasn't something that I felt that we were being deprived of. My perspective is I didn't miss the Japanese part at all. And we were able to listen to the radio, hear what's the latest tunes that are popular outside the camp, and listen to Frank Sinatra, Perry Como, and we were busy dancing, learning how to jitterbug. Maybe looking back, other people felt deprived of all of that, but personally, I didn't. One of my best friends is Takayo, and she's a girl that taught me how to throw a baton, and I've kept my friendship up with her. She had moved to Chicago, I had moved to Denver, but we kept writing to each other. There's others that I have lost in touch with through the years, because when we came out of camp, I went to Denver, and a lot of my friends came to LA, and I didn't get to see them very much, but the memories that I've had of them in camp, we had such good times in camp that Orebo Tamaki, there's so many people, and so many of them are gone now, and I really miss them. And I'm sorry that I didn't stay in closer touch with them. I remember coming out of camp, we had a club called Rugged Lovers, and can't keep in touch with each other because so many now have loss of memory, Alzheimer's, and things like that. But all of those things came out of our camp days, being close with each other, and then forming clubs after camp. Back in our days, we didn't have things like protests, and it scared me when this president says he wants to bring in U.S. military to control the protesters. And I thought of the days when we went to camp and we were escorted to the buses and the trains by the U.S. military. And I think, what would have happened if we tried to protest or fight? Would they have shot us? In camp, we were surrounded by barbed wire fences with guards sitting on top of those fences with the machine guns and the guns pointed at us. And I remember one riot that they had in Santa Anita, which we didn't know what a riot was, so we just went out there to see what it was like. And we saw the tanks coming into Santa Anita. And when you think of those images, you remember as a young kid, and it's very traumatic. As American citizens, you never expect to have the police or National Guard or U.S. military fight against you as an American citizen. I don't think that is right, and I think that they're here to protect us, not fight against us. I think today the young people are so much more aware of their civil rights, and I think that gives me hope that the young people now will carry on this fight so that this horrible racism is not carried forward anymore. The young people are our hope, and I think that the young people are so well educated and focused, and you're able to articulate what you want to say, and that was something that we couldn't do when we were younger. And I really thank the young people for doing that, and your organization Kizuna that instills that, and the Japanese American Citizens League, and all of these youth groups that really are dedicated into really carrying through that civil rights is not just something that we talk about, but that it's actually it actually happens, so that everybody can have their own civil rights protected. I think that's probably my wish and my hope.
And that's it for this week's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button down below and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Go Kizuna. That's it for me today. We'll see you in the next one.